If you want to learn how to invest in property, I think there's 10 key skills that you need to master. And skill number 2 is property renovation. Or to put it another way, how to add real, tangible value to a property. Hi, my name is Tony Law from Your First 4 Houses, and my channel is all about helping you achieve financial freedom through property. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I give you each and every week. So as I say, I reckon there's probably 10 key skills that ideally you need to master in order to be a really successful property investor. And skill number 2, well, is to add value wherever you possibly can. But I need to make one thing really clear straight off the bat. There's a big difference, I think, between what I mean by adding value and what potentially other people mean by adding value. In fact, there's a golden rule, and the rule is the value you add must be greater than the cost of adding that value in the first place. So what do I mean by this? Well, the truth is I'm not really referring to giving the property a bit of a lick of paint, a bit of a clean up. I mean you're going to go out of your way to find ways to add real, tangible value to that property. So for example, in some parts of the country, if you took an existing garage and you converted it into accommodation, be it another bedroom or a living space or maybe even a granny annex, you're going to add real tangible value to that property over and above what it cost you to do the work in some parts of the country. Not in all. You've got to do your due diligence and you've got to look at the numbers and look at comparables. Could you maybe add a bedroom? In most parts of the country, that will add real tangible value. Could you maybe take that house and split it into 2 flats? Or maybe you go into the loft space and get a 3rd flat in there. That's going to potentially add loads of value to that building. Or maybe you take the house and you split it vertically into 2 houses. Or maybe you get a 3rd one round the side and get a 3rd property in there. Obviously that's going to potentially add hugely over and above what it cost you to do the work. Or maybe you build in the garden, for example, which I know I've talked about before. But these are all real ways that you're going to be able to add value over and above what it actually cost you to do that work, potentially. Now there is a huge advantage to taking this I must add value kind of approach, and it all comes down to refinancing. Now, I'm a great believer in buying and holding for the long term, but I don't really want my money tied up in a property for the next 5, 10, 15 years whilst I wait for it to go up in value. I want to be able to put my money in, potentially add loads of value and then refinance and pull my money back out so I can go and look for the next deal and go and put my money into that deal and kind of do the same thing again. Now there are opportunities all around you to add real value, and that is my big tip in this lesson. I want you to get out there and walk around your investment area. In fact, I wanted to share a quick tale with you if that's okay. I was recently up in Barnet in North London, which is where part of my family lives, and I went out for a walk. I spent an hour and a half walking around Barnet with the sole intention of finding places where I could potentially add value, and I was amazed at some of the little opportunities that I found to add real value to the properties that I was looking at. I narrowed it down to, I reckon I saw about 20 potential places. Let's say 10 of them were real goers. Ultimately, I reckon I got down to 3 places where I could, if I could buy that property and do what I wanted to do, make a lot of money. And this is just for an hour and a half's walk around a very specific area that I know reasonably well, just walking around all the little back streets. So you've got to do it. You've got to get out there and look for these little opportunities. And I hasten to add, most of these were not on the market. So please do that. Get out, walk around your investment area and look for potential places to add value. In my online property masterclass, I can teach you a whole load of different ways to add real, tangible value to a property, so you can potentially refinance and pull your money back out of deals quickly. And so if you'd like to book a 10-minute phone call with me to find out a little bit more about this course and how it can benefit you, simply click on this link here to book a time slot, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions you may have.